Gregor, KK, you guys know what's going on, essentially? Have you heard or listened to the podcast at all? Or just to get a rough idea of conversationally how we should approach this, because I don't want any surprises by accident to be like, hey, by the way, we're nothing but assholes. Like, it's just trying to find out.
Just one. just
Some people would say prick. I don't know who would ever call him that. I would never.
That's bad.
I would never call him that.
Not a clue.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah, you guys should be all right.
Yeah.
All right, guys ready?
There you go.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Marvel Snapcast, episode 64. I'm here with some wonderful people with me. As you can see, my co-host next to me, first off, is...
the top 5 best snappers in the world. Sino. Because I snapped that hot fire, you heard?
That's right. And, of course, our other co-host on the other side of me, the one and only Mr. Epic Sax Party himself. It's ItsGuestGaming.
There you go. Yeah. We need to drop the whole, like, Mr. Epic Sax Party, just because I feel like it has this weird ring to it, especially because you're so famously known for not enunciating properly. So
and I sure did.
Just throwing that all out there. But I appreciate yes, you can do the theme song, Sino. Yeah, that's great. But as always, pleasure to be here.
That's right. And then, of course, we have two of our wonderful guests with us today, two members of PWROn Gaming. We'll start off with the first one, of course. Gregor is phenomenal. You guys seen all his work. He does awesome streams, of course, and is killing it on the YouTube front, doing awesome videos with Snap Judgments podcast as well. The one and only Gregor, ladies and gentlemen. Gregor, welcome.
Hey. Thank you all for having me on. Very excited to be here.
Fantastic. Great. I'm glad you're here. And of course, somebody back again. I mean, we did have KK on the podcast in the past when guest wasn't here. Of course, KK has been doing phenomenal things on her streams as well, putting out the awesome content. Again, one of the members of PWROn Gaming, the one and only. And, of course, been on The Collector, KKSparkles. Welcome in.
Yay! Let's go.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, of course, this month is the wonderful Pride Month. So we definitely want to bring you guys on. We want to definitely showcase our members as well and talk about some awesome things in Marvel Snap as it pertains to Pride Month. But first, we'll kick things off with the wonderful new season that we've been having so far and the newest card that came out this week that we all just straight gave bad ratings when we first saw this card. And I hope, we'll see if it stays the same. Of course, and that is the one and only Sersi. So Sersi is, of course, unrevealed. Transform your other cards here into random cards that cost one more if able. I'm going to start with Guess right above me. Guess, I know you gave it a wonderful silver rating last time. Yeah. Is it remaining at silver or is it a little bit less?
Depends on who you ask. I know that. But if you ask me, I still think this is absolute hot dog water that's been out for 3 days. Because I went viral for the wrong reasons because of this card. I used my keys, got Sersi, throw her into my very first deck, very first game, throw her down. What does she flip out? She flips out a Viper, which sends Sersi to the other side, and then flips a MODOK, which destroys my entire hand. In the same turn, literally first interaction ever with this woman.
Yep.
And
there you go.
That set the tone for the rest of the day, just because I feel like it's straight up meme. It has some potential. There are very select shells that she has the, you could clause attached to, which is basically just junk and ramp. And if you want to, and you don't mind mitigating the downside, go for it. But I don't like the amount of RNG that comes from it. I think it's too inconsistent, especially with the amount of cards that are currently in the game. Like if this card came out last year when we had, 70 less cards in the collection, I actually probably would have enjoyed the card more and it would have faded out with time. But in the current, game with over 200 and I don't even know now what, it's got to be like 280 plus in the collection or something like that now. Yeah, just it's too inconsistent for me. I'm sticking with my silver ranking. I am not a fan. I know there are many competitive people who love it. I am just not one of them.
I hear that. Well, I'm going to give it double plastic now, or double plastic.
All right, guys. Plastic is the lowest you get for our guests.
Like a
plastic
credit
is
card.
the lowest you could give a ranking. Yeah, and then it kind of goes like jewelry. You go silver, gold, platinum, and then diamond. All right.
Correct. So I give it double plastic. I think it's definitely, like you said, too much RNG for me, so I wasn't a fan. Gregor, how do you feel about Sersi?
I love meme cards, so she's been really fun for me. I didn't place her low. She was actually one of my higher cards this season.
Okay.
Okay.
I've only had a couple instances where one time she switched over a deathlock and just destroyed the entire lane. But a lot of other times I get some wild results from her. Like I've gotten Grandmaster who then plays her again into the middle lane.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's really cool. And then she goes off again, and then I get, a boost. And because they're going up, I think once Arshim comes out, though, they did confirm if you have a 6-cost card, it's guaranteed to become a 7-cost card. So you're guaranteed to hit Arshim if you have a 6-cost card in that lane. So that's value there.
That's fair. Okay.
Agreed.
So I would say probably silver gold for me.
Okay. Perfect.
Somewhere in there.
So there we go. All right. So KK, what about you? How do you feel about Sersi?
I only got like 2 hours to play with her today. And I'm gonna give her plastic.
Yeah.
Hey, not feeling the Sersi. Let's go.
No, I almost skipped on her because I knew she was gonna be very inconsistent, but she can be really fun for content plays.
Right.
I think if we were just judging her on content, I'd probably give her like at least gold for that. But if you're wanting to climb with like consistency, definitely plastic for her.
Okay. All right. And then Sino?
Yeah, that's right. And yes, you behave yourself. All right. You behave yourself while KK is speaking. What's wrong with you?
Fine.
I'm gonna go silver just because I'm
not gonna behave when you're speaking though. Sorry.
Silver.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, little brother, you listen to Big Brother, okay?
But I'm the love child.
I like her 5'7" stat line. I like that. So that's why I gave it a silver. It is very RNG. I have seen it help people and hurt people, so that's why I'm gonna go at least silver. I don't think she's a plastic per se. That's just my opinion. Silver definitely for Sersi.
We'll see how much people play her after Erisham comes out, and then after that, I want to see what happens. I think after this season, I don't know, she's gonna go down there, but we'll see what happens.
Wow, a lot of Sersi hate here. What's going on?
I mean, listen, it's
she's like
not
the
hate.
unpopular girl out of the crew, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to hate
out of all the cards this season.
She plays fun with Pixie. Like, if you want more RNG in there, throw Pixie in the mix. I've been having fun with her.
Okay. Get her a better stat line.
Pixie, then, here's a question for that, because I don't know. I mean, we spoke about it. I don't know if anybody of us tested it. Maybe Gregor did. But with Pixie, if she flipped their base and then you play Sersi on it, will it then capture the original base cost, or will it does the
original base?
Okay, so still does original still. Okay, so all right. So all right. So next card coming out this upcoming week, of course, is the wonderful card that got a buff before even coming out. And again, her ability, I think, is basically after the turn, runs from your hand to a random location if possible. So I know a lot of people were concerned about this card when it was a 3/3. Again, I thought, yes, with Surfer is perfect. Of course, you guys mentioned Cerebral 3, which I think would have worked out well. But, now her getting that wonderful extra buff and power, do we think this card is still a good card or a bad card? So we're going to give our guesses for this week, and then next week we'll see what happens. I'll start with our guests. KK, what do you feel about Makkari?
I think she's going to be about silver. She'll be really consistent in Surfer decks.
Yeah.
I think she could maybe mess up some plays. Like if you play, say, Brood, and then if she fills the Brood lane and you weren't wanting to fill that lane, like that could maybe be an issue. But her unpredictability, like the random location jump out, could screw you. So that's why I'm not giving her higher than silver.
All right, that's fair. Gregor, how about you, buddy?
I think it's also silver. The fact that she plays herself is kind of nice. That's a, you know, that's one less thing you have to play.
Right.
But the randomness is scary. Space Throne, bar with no name, locations like that she can run straight into. Also, there's so many really good 3-cost cards. What are you swapping in a Silver Surfer deck to put her in? Is the question. Like, I don't know who I would drop. I'm thinking we're dropping Killmonger.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Fastest down the line for
Fastest is gonna be great
for Surfer. So I'm like, can I fit both Fastest and Makkari into a Surfer deck? That's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Yes, you're gonna drop 2 cards. You're gonna drop Killmonger and you're gonna drop Red Guardian. That's it. Just put them on the bench.
I'm not dropping Red Guardian.
Red Guardian,
no chance.
I know Red Guardian is great, but just swap. Okay. Matter of fact, drop. You know who to drop? Drop Wong. Take Wong out the Surfer deck and put.
Why are you playing Wong in the Surfer deck unless if it's his version, the Gregor, the famous version, exclusively? That's the only reason to play Wong.
We put Wong in the middle. We put Grandmaster and Surfer on the right. There you go. We get some extra.
God, your phrasing sucks. Why are we putting the Wong in the middle?
Yeah, it's so bad.
Why is Grandmaster in the deck?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Now everybody's deck shaming me. Okay.
Listen, Grandmaster actually has some play now that he's gotten the buff. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. With
Surfer, how do you feel about Makkari?
So I have to take that for Surfer, which I think most people will come to realize because of the unpredictability of her best substitution is the least likely one on initial concept, and that's probably Brood. Because by removing Brood, the reason you put Brood in there is to get the other Broodlings. But if this card's going to play itself for you, why would I still want to have a 3/2 when instead I could go over the top and put in another 3/5 and a Makkari to get those same 3 amount of costs to get 2 bodies on the board that give me more power than having 3 Broodlings. And then I don't run the risk at the same time of, as you were talking about KK getting clogged. I think that there is something to be said about Makkari changing the landscape of what Silver Surfer decks are because you no longer necessarily need to play Brood. I think that it's a very exciting card for that reason, because now we're moving into this world of 3/5 is essentially the sexy new version of 3/4. And now we see cards like Red Guardian that have come on out. We have Fastos coming down the pipeline. We had even Black Swan, at 3/5 stat line is good. You have Gladiator at 3/8, and more cards.
Nocturne.
Yeah, Nocturne at 3/5. Exactly. Like, there's a beefy enough body of 3-cost cards now, and now to add another one that you literally don't have to play. And if you look at the timing of when it pulls into your hand, half of the time it's going to be in your hand by turn 3. So it's going to play itself on the board, and you're going to have plenty of time to typically adjust to what she does. Now, the bigger question outside of Surfer is, what else are you using her in? Because everyone's going to, myself included, is just like, go. Try to figure out other things to throw out onto the board. I like the tribunal idea 100% because it's just free bodies that you're not thinking about. But at the same time, you're losing a draw of what could be what gets you your tribunal package. So it gets it on the back. It's like Black Cat. Sometimes it's great in a discard deck and sometimes it's not, depending on what you're trying to do with it. So
that's fair.
I haven't sat down and truly, thought about exactly what else besides Surfer, because I want to find different versions of Surfer that work really well for Makkari. I think we revisit the old idea of the Cerebro 2 into Surfer hybrid package again, because that deck has always been just shy of being good. And now that we've got little extra buffs that have come down the pipeline too, maybe there's a way that we bring it over the top. So I'm looking to see what else they do with this, what else the community does with this. And, they'll let us know down in the comments how they're going to use Makkari. But I am just Surfer minded like everybody else.
Okay. And what do you give it as far as your rating for this week until next week? In
a Surfer deck, I do think this will be like a double gold. But in every other deck, it's probably just it's somewhere between a double silver and a gold. By the way, for our guests, double is like plus. So gold plus, transitionally. So that was one extra thing there. So
All right, Sino, what about you? How you feel about Makkari?
Silver. I think she's going to be a silver. Like Guest said, I can't see anything for her right now other than Surfer. I do think she has her advantages as far as getting into locations that we can't necessarily play in. It doesn't count with Professor X now, right? She can't run into a Professor X now, right?
She can.
Okay.
No, because it's the same as Hela. You can't add cards there that way.
Okay, you can't add, but she can.
Right.
If
It's not
she
considered a
can
move.
move.
Yeah, it's called run. That's why I was trying to figure it out, because run and move, you know what I mean? It kind of rang similar to me. I was trying to cheat, but but she has her purposes. So I'm just gonna go silver. I don't think she's gonna change anything really crazy.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, listen, I think she's definitely gonna be a gold. I'm in that realm of gold for sure for her. She will be great in Surfer decks. You're right. We got to find out something else.
Some people are bummed she's a 3/4. They wanted that 3/3 for Cerebro 3.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think
I did.
That probably would have been a better bet.
Yeah, Guess did.
For her.
Guess mentioned that. That's right.
Because now you have two decks for her, right? You got the Cerebro and you have the Surfer. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll see what happens next week. I mean, it's definitely the card I'm waiting for is the one after. Like that's my diamond pick for sure. I think Fastos is going to be the truth, and then we have the madness of a draft mode kind of with Erisham. So this is going to be some interesting things coming up. But of course, let's dive into our next topic. And that is, of course, like I said, we have some of our wonderful LGBTQ plus members from PWROn here with us. And we wanted to have some questions in regards to who are some of the Marvel characters that are part of that wonderful community, whether they be in Snap or outside of Snap.
Who wants to lead off? Not to show the pressure on anybody, but just shovel it out there to our special guests. So since Ken won't,
You just want me to start naming all the queer Marvel Snap characters we have?
Yeah, it feels like that, right? It felt like we're putting you on the spot.
Iceman.
Right off the top of my head, we have Iceman.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I thought Iceman was with Kitty Pryde. Well, we know Valkyrie. Yeah, Valkyrie. Okay, I knew Valkyrie.
Iceman and Kitty's thing, I don't think was his beard. Iceman's gay.
And Kitty's bisexual.
Interesting. See that?
Yeah.
I know.
Now you learn something every day.
Did you guys see X-Men 97? Everybody here?
Yeah.
Most of it.
You finally watched it? Okay.
Yeah.
I got halfway through. Just go ahead and talk. Spoilers for the
Spoilers!
listeners. Spoilers.
I swore on the last episode Magneto and Professor X was going to kiss.
Oh, dude.
100% felt that way for the entire episode when they were
The kind of hate they have
Yes,
against each other is like jaded lovers kind of hate.
Lovers quarrel.
Like,
yeah.
So I
way
really
back
thought
when their ideals conflicted and they just had a really bad breakup.
that's so I felt that way. I thought that was going to happen for sure. Okay, let's go through some others then. LGBT, yes.
Valkyrie, and I think was Valkyrie the first announced in the MCU to be a part of LGBTQ? I'm pretty sure. Or was there someone before her?
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Is Valkyrie bi?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Sarah and Angela, obviously.
Yes, perfect.
A lot of people were shocked by that. I had that comment several times. It come up in my chat in different points of like, why is it Angela and Sarah? I'm like, surprise. Like,
Sarah's trans and Angela is a lesbian, correct?
That's correct. That we knew. Well, that I knew.
Yep.
So Iceman got me off guard. I knew about Valkyrie. Is there any other members?
So
Deadpool?
yes.
Okay,
Really?
I believe that. I believe that. I can
have
see
you
it.
heard all the pegging
I
jokes?
didn't know. Well, that's
He's
true.
pan.
The jokes.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Okay.
Yeah, he's pan.
Loki?
Yeah, Loki.
Loki's gender fluid, I believe,
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
which makes a lot of sense based off of him.
that does
One
too.
that we haven't gotten yet, Hulkling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
coming soon.
Yes.
We get Hulkling in August, right?
Yes.
Supposedly.
As part of the Young Avengers.
Okay, that's all. See, didn't know about.
I didn't even know about Hulkling. Yeah, I didn't know that was a character. Nice.
Yeah, Hulkling and
yeah.
Wiccan.
Yeah.
Yes, Wiccan as
I knew
well.
Wiccan. I knew Wiccan. Yeah.
That's what's her name's child? Scarlet Witch, right?
Yep.
They are the most prominent gay couple, according to a quick Google search.
Wiccan and Hulkling.
Yep.
Hulkling. Interesting. Okay.
They're married. Oh, I didn't know that. Hulkling, also known as Theodore Altman, is gay and is married to fellow Young Avenger Wiccan.
Well, there we go. What about Fastos? I think Fastos in the Eternal movies was gay.
Fastos, yes.
He was.
Yes.
Let's do a quick search.
Is he still?
Openly gay.
See, all right, that's what I thought from the film. Okay, so all right,
Did we
let's
say
see what this is.
magic yet?
No, Magic is as well.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You just broke Sino's heart.
I mean, she's bi, so he still has a shot.
There's still a chance, man. There's still a chance.
Nah,
So
this
there
is top
is-
5 is Echo, okay? Because she got the boom like that. All right.
Okay.
There is, I believe that regular Logan has to be bi with how long he's lived. I don't believe that he's gone that long without testing the waters. But there is an alternate universe one where he's like in a relationship with Hercules, or a different world one where he is openly gay with Hercules.
And so is his son, Dakin.
Dakin is bi.
Mm-hmm.
All these characters. See, I had no idea.
No,
I
me
read
neither.
some
I'm
of the comments,
so
but this is
clueless.
awesome.
Yeah. It's amazing how connected and disconnected the community is simultaneously with this kind of, like, even and ourselves included. It's one of those things where you don't realize the impact and the culture that is in front of you every single day, especially, you know, in this gaming community. You know, we seek it, we talk about it, we have cards that, you know, are representative characters that are representing all of these different, you know, spectrums of the circles. And it's interesting because there's simultaneously a lot of ignorance to realizing that this is even a part of everybody's everyday experience. So if you did not know, maybe you learned a little something, just like, oh, wait, this is true. Wait, like Sarah, that's going to blow a lot of people's minds. Like, tell you right now, we're going to get comments about it. Like, no. And at the same time, we're also going to get a whole bunch of comments of people saying, oh, and also so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, because, you know, whatever was not listed, please let us know. Let's share the information, please.
Can I add one?
Feed us. Yeah, of course.
Keep adding.
Absolutely.
Original writer of X-Men comic, Gambit was supposed to be intended as bisexual. And I totally get that because Gambit and Rogue are like the bisexual.
And the way he acts.
Yeah. We're made for the bis. 100%. So
that makes sense. So why would they? Well, I guess they took it out because of any purpose. Like the difference now, I mean, from back then to now, I mean, things are way more open now. People are way more, you know, privy to things. So I think more now, of course, they will accept it. But interesting that this was in inception and nobody, you know, they wait until later on to bring it out. So that's intriguing. I didn't know that. But Gambit, I mean, you could tell the way he acted as well with him and Rogue, like you said, it was very interesting. So I'm gonna go with Magneto probably too then.
Magneto and Professor X, I feel like very much so.
I feel that way,
In the soul.
Okay.
In the soul.
That makes sense. All right, awesome. No, guys, again, thanks for that. Like I said, that's why I wanted to talk about it because I'm like, I'm sure I don't know a lot. I did know about Sarah and Angela, but I mean, it's surprising people didn't know that. I mean,
there's a lot of them.
Is America Chavez also bi? She was included within last year's Pride Bundle along with Iceman.
She's lesbian.
She's lesbian. Okay, cool.
Well, her parents were, weren't they? Well, is that just the movie? Am I being fooled?
Hold on, I'm gonna.
You're right. Her parents were, yes.
America Chavez
in the movie.
I didn't see the
She's
movie
a lesbian.
like the rest
Yes.
of the
Spoilers! No, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Well, that movie's like years old, bro.
Yeah,
so
I know.
You're a little late on that one.
You're good there. You're
I'm
covered.
clear. The X-Men 97, I didn't do. That was tech.
Yeah, I know. At least
Just
we
saying.
warned our listeners.
Right. We scream spoilers. All right, awesome. Anybody else on the list you guys want to mention that is in Marvel Snap that nobody would know or even assume that they were?
Well, Mystique, but I think that one is known.
Yeah.
also Destiny as well. So we don't have Destiny as a character in Marvel Snap yet, but Destiny is the actual mother of Nightcrawler. Mystique is technically the father.
He just
did you see Ken's face right there? The confusion level just went through the roof. You shattered that man's brain.
I mean, so Mystique can technically alter her DNA.
Right.
So she can be whatever gender she wants to be.
Right.
So in that case, They recently revealed that.
Blew my mind. I'm sure everybody listening right now and watching, their minds were blown as well. But it makes sense though, because Mystique can change her DNA. So if she wanted to be a man and carry that, she can make that happen. If she wanted to be a female, which we see her in the comics and in Snap, she can make that happen as well. So that's awesome. That is pretty awesome. Thank you for that. All right.
Makes sense.
Listen, guys, thanks for again for educating us on that. And I can't wait for that August season, because I think those cards are going to make Gilgamesh a phenomenal card, because all those cards do some amazing things to buff other cards or themselves.
That's right.
And that's what Gilgamesh really needs. And the
Yeah,
fact that
he works very well with all the rest of the cards. Yeah.
What
so we'll
is
dive
it?
into that.
Kid Marvel? Is that
Yes.
Young Avengers, right?
Yeah. His ability looks broken because right now it's set every turn.
Yes. Which I don't think. Well, we don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see if it goes out like that on launch.
I mean, if they let guests preview that card, at least he'll know now to let it be known. That we have helicopters.
They're
after you all. They're looking for Sino.
Mystique is canonically bisexual.
She's what? Bionically?
Canonically bisexual.
Canonically. Mm-hmm. I mean, that again, that makes sense to me for sure. But wow, okay. She's a father. That just blew my mind for that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Totally.
Yes. So if we wanted to have a tournament where we just play with the members of the LGBTQ cards, what kind of deck could we make?
I was doing it today. I made a decent deck with it. Let me count how many I have on my list here. 1, 2.
Because we try to do an all black one for Juneteenth, and it was like, it can't happen because we'll all have the same deck.
I think you could probably make it work. There are a lot of. Hold on, I need to find all the.
I have 33 on my list.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I think it could work.
That's enough cards. Yeah.
What card list would you put
happen.
together? It's quick 6 cards. We'll go with the first half.
Let's see. I had
Sarah
Angela,
Sarah
Kitty.
and Angela for sure.
Yeah, Angela, Kitty
Pride. Okay,
Sarah.
so that's 3. I'm with you.
Who else did I have? Iceman, America Chavez, Loki.
Okay, Loki's perfect.
Maria Hill.
There you go.
Yes, Samara.
Is Maria Hill lesbian?
Really?
I have her down as lesbian. Yes.
Okay.
And who else did I have? I should have screenshotted the deck.
It's okay. I just
off the top of the
See, now I have to make a deck of all queer characters.
I had Magic in it,
Great
and
content.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead was in it.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Yes, absolutely.
I miss her old ways. Destroy my own cards for me, please.
It's kind of tough with the destroy ones though, but then you could add in like the symbiotes because they're gender fluid.
Yeah,
so,
actual fluid.
Yeah.
So because I couldn't find a way to play Deadpool today without adding symbiotes.
Yes, that's fair.
That was a good one.
Yes, actual fluid. He's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a cool card list. We got some cards there. So
Yeah.
I challenge you guys, listeners and watchers, make a LGBTQ plus card list. And let us know what it is down below. Please leave a comment. I would like to see what that card list is. And we'll do an awesome giveaway. First one to make a card list that allows me to win a Infinity ticket with it. You guys get next year Battle Pass on the Snapcast.
Ooh, look at
What if
you.
it's like pilot error? No, never mind.
What you mean?
Question for this.
Yeah.
There are different Earths. So, like, there's a Cyclops version that's bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still valid?
Sure.
You know what? Yeah, why not? Right? If it
Let's do it.
why not?
We are all accepting.
Yes.
Okay.
All Earths.
There you go.
Yes.
All Earths.
Yeah, thanks, you
Wolverine. You can get Wolverine in there then.
And
Yep.
that's perfect. So let's do it. Do we have any Earths where we have people that are black that are not black?
I think so.
That'd be awesome. Why you looking at me like crazy?
No, I'm trying to think. Is that a thing?
Why not? Cyclops could be black, or Logan could be black in another Earth. What's the problem? Why you looking at me like I got 10 heads?
No, that would be awesome. There was
be.
like a TikTok video I was watching is like, what if you were to cast the X-Men with black actors? And it was really, really interesting. Like, who would you cast? Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, we know we got Storm already. I'm definitely going for J-Gal from wrestling right now.
No, you got to invert it. You got to invert it. If it's going to be a full black cast, then Storm has to be white.
That was what they did. They have to. Okay. Yep, that's what they did in the thing. They did invert it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you just Mr. Negative cast, bro?
Yes.
Yep.
I think they said Michael P. Jordan for Cyclops was what they ended up on, and then they had a really good list. It was a very interesting watch.
Who's going to be Logan? Ooh.
The guy, I think they chose the guy who was in the newer Star Wars movie, John Boyega. Is that it?
Yes,
Jason Boyega, John Boyega, one of the two.
Yeah.
What is? Whatever his name is, I don't remember.
Yeah, they're like he's kind of shorter. He's got the kind of the physique for it.
Yeah, the stockiness. Yeah. Oh damn, Bishop has to be inverted too. Intriguing. This is all some fun stuff.
Ken has a project. Ken has homework.
Yeah, I'm so ready. I'm so ready to do this. All right, yeah, we'll come back to that next episode, guys. All right, so speaking of awesome things that happened this month, we had the Conquerors come up. Some of us was definitely
yes,
was blessed to be invited to this event. It was a great time. We did have 4 members from PWROn. Of course, we didn't make it to the final, but we did have a good time. It was awesome.
Y'all did great.
Had a blast.
Let's go. Shout out to y'all.
Try to make Gilgamesh look as great as it is without putting him in a holodeck, We try to do our best. I'm not throwing jabs at anybody. I'm just saying, try my best.
But it's true. It's true though. He was, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. He was Gilgamesh. So I think Conquerors kind of really put the nail in that coffin too, where it's like, hey, we're gonna build a deck. Okay, like many moons ago, we did a competition like when we were opening up CCG Hub, and we had 4 creators come on, and everybody, it was like a random spinner wheel where you had to use a very specific big bad in a deck, and it was just random and it was paired up. And D Money was gifted Galactus, one of his like all-time least favorite decks. I mean, cards to play, decks to play. He built a bounce deck and just like threw Galactus in it. That's exactly what it reminded me of, seeing Gilgamesh in a holodeck. It's just like it'll be there. It'll be there. It's fine. Whatever.
He put Gilgamesh in a deck.
I guess that makes sense. Nonetheless, it was a good time. We had a blast, and I was happy to see a lot of new content creators.
Did you say who was in it? The 4 that was in it.
Do you think the reason he got the buff was because he was so met in the Conquerors tournament?
100%.
Possibly.
100%. Because I wish he would have been a 9 power going into it. Then people would have played a Gilgamesh card list. But the fact that he was only 7 power, that was the issue. And I think because he's a 5 cost, it's very difficult. But we'll dive into the OTAs right after this. But yeah, I think myself, Loopy, Pawnee, and Hannah were all in the Conquerors, and that was phenomenal to see them in there. And we were in perfect position to all meet up as the last 4, but we didn't make it that far. Poor Loopy had to fight Lambie round 1, and that was
a rough thing to do.
But he did what he had to do to get there. I beat Elsuri, then my second opponent was TLSG. I got too happy with snapping, as you guys know me for.
He snapped when he shouldn't have. He didn't even believe he could win, and he snapped.
I thought I could have won, but I had a
then
chance.
The very next game kills it and does ill plays where he should have snapped that game.
And I didn't.
And I told him before, no snapping, and he doesn't listen. I'm frustrated. Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. And of course, on the other side, Pony won the first round, went on to the second round. But she did lose in the second round as well. And then Hannah had to play up against Woody, which was very tough.
Yo, Woody,
yeah. It was a tough match.
It was a tough match. Yes.
So, but yeah, nonetheless, if you guys check out the card list, you'll see a plethora of different ones for Gilgamesh. You'll see some Professor X with Cannonball, which will no longer work right now. They did that. You saw some Hellas, etc. But nonetheless, Gilgamesh is a okay card, and we're going to dive into what we think about these.
Shout out to KK too, because you were in Conquerors, the last Conquerors, right?
Yeah, I was in the December one.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yes, and you were killing it too.
Thanks.
Do you remember who ended up winning?
No, Lambie won, I think.
Yeah, the second
Okay.
one.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Sammy on the second one.
I think I'm pretty sure I got knocked out like first round, but it was a really fun experience.
Definitely a good time. And it had way more time to build up because we had we were told on Wednesday and it started Friday. I was like,
Oh,
this is nice.
no. You weren't told.
Yes,
You
fair
found
enough.
out.
We were told. Yes, facts.
You found
Hey,
out.
guys,
You knew
we're
it was
gonna happen in
happening,
the
just
Friday.
didn't
Yes.
know when. And then, hey, by the way, here's the website post, and
Yep, it
you
is.
all get a message. Hey, we need 4 decks in like 4 hours. Thanks, guys. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Good
What?
Yes, it was Tuesday. We had to
Really?
Tuesday. We had to submit the card list by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Tuesday. So
Yikes.
Gilgamesh
Wow.
just came out at 3. Then they messaged us, say, "Hey, we need those decks by by 5 p.m." And we're like, "Okay." And then so we didn't know when the date was going to happen. And the next day, they're like, here's the trailer. We're doing this on Friday." This Friday? Okay. And that's basically how it went down. But we didn't know in advance that we were going to do a Conquerors, just didn't know when. And then, of course, like I said, we knew we had to use. We kind of knew about Gilgamesh, but it wasn't certain. And then Tuesday, like I said, we found out, and then it was a good time. I mean, listen, we made it do what it do. It was a fun time, and I would do it all over again. But hopefully, with this new,
Put it in the hella deck.
yeah, I should.
You
all you
should have
gotta do.
ran the Hammers deck you talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, facts.
You would've won
He
it
didn't get
all.
far enough. He didn't get far enough.
I was supposed to be my championship deck.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as you guys know, we definitely have OTAs almost every week. And most of the past OTAs have been, okay, all right. But this OTA came with some real heat on it. And we're going to run through it real quick. Starting with, of course, everybody's most hated Professor X. Now, we talked about this on the podcast. We all spoke about this on the Discord. Professor X being a 5-1 was definitely a problem. Yes.
Hey,
Goodbye. One more time for him. Nah.
What's wrong with you?
Am I the only one sad about it?
I am not sad whatsoever.
No. You're the only one sad.
Whoa. KK, lead us off.
There we go.
Yes. How do you feel about this wonderful change since you're sad?
I am a Professor X enjoyer, so I'm upset. He's no longer a lockdown card, so
No.
it just makes me really sad.
Which I said the
What's
same.
what's
He
really
belongs in a move deck now.
Yeah. What's really interesting though is like out of all of the things I have here on this desk, I have a saxophone. I used to have a harmonica. I found this little tiny violin as well. Let me just get a little play here for
Wow.
you. Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, no, the reason I do that is it has been 2 years of this card in its current, former now, game mechanic. And even with them bringing it down to 5-1, it came and went. And then the second cannonball arrived. That combination was so detrimental. So what I do legitimately ask is, do you think if they had only adjusted cannonball, KK, would that have been enough to nuke the pair?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Cool. It's great to hear that from somebody else too.
In all reality, I think if they just made him a 5-2 and kept him the way he was, he'd be fine.
I think, making him a 5-2 because it took him out of being
Ravona.
discounted by Ravona.
Yeah.
And that was what his huge, that combo, Ravona, Professor X, and Cannonball, that's what the issue was. So making him a 5-2, I think, really took a lot of the heat off of it,
Yeah. Adding the move aspect is to help with the cannonball, but then Cannonball then also got his fair share. And I mean, I just want to go into it and just see how everybody else feels about X. Gregor, how you feel about it?
So I called this change. I said he needed to be changed to a 5-2. I didn't know that the move mechanic was going to go there. We just needed a way that he couldn't come out on 4 with Ravona, because it was way too easy to lock down a lane. You have so many things that you could do if they play Ravona on 2. They could Green Goblin the same lane, and then they could Professor X on 4.
Just drop him on Thena.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do to stop it. And once you win a free lane, you're already fighting an uphill battle at that point against your opponent. So I'm really happy with this. I do think Cannonball kind of caught astray a little bit, but it's really not that bad. 5.8 is good. 5.7 is also good.
Right.
So overall, I'm really, really happy with this. I don't have to worry about Professor X as much anymore. I now have ways to work around him that I didn't have before. And I think we're going to see more decks come out just in general from this OTA than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, so I think Cannonball needs to get that bullet because everybody been using him, of course, with Professor X, and they still kind of can use him, but not with X anymore. So giving him that low power, we're going to see a lot of people stop playing Cannonball. I mean, that's what Second Dinner does a lot. Reduce that power, everybody's going to stop playing Cannonball. But, I mean, if they were just going to make him a 5-2 Cannonball, I don't think need to be touched. But nonetheless, they added that move mechanic, so now you can Cannonball somebody into that lane anyway. So, I mean, if you're going to play Professor X, you need to put him in a move deck, have Hercules in there, so you should be all good to go either way.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, if you Cannonball somebody and it goes into that lane, Hercules will send their ass somewhere else. So I think that is the way it needs to happen. If you're going to play X, guys, I know he's gone from the old way of playing with him, and now you got to use Professor X in a move deck 100%. Add a Hercules in it, and you should be good to go.
I think you just invented a slingshot deck.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that too. I was like, yo, he said Hercules. I was like, wow.
StegRon, because now he only sends stuff to the right. Put Kingpin in there. Now you got a Kingpin in that right lane, and now you just have a blast sending cards over there to get stomped out by Kingpin. But yeah, we'll make all that. We'll have some fun with that. I think Gregor will put it together too, and you guys will check it out. But you guys heard it here first. Slingshot card list with Professor X. I love it. All right, Cannonball we just spoke about. Do we still want to dive into Cannonball? No, it should be good, right?
Do you think you were saying they'll stop playing Cannonball? I still think he'll get play. I think his ability is still good enough.
His ability of destroying, I think, will be limited if you can't clog up the other person.
Right. If you can't,
that he's gonna go right with clog. You know what I mean? Junk decks. Like that's where he's really gonna shine now, instead of the lockdown where he was shining before. You know what I mean? Fair. So I just think Professor X got shot at when they were aiming at Cannonball, and he just was like, "Boop! Oh no!" and he got the hit instead of Cannonball, because that was the real problem. But I now you have a way out of it. Oh, and Guess, I agree with you now. The best 5 cost has to be Vision. Guess called it before, and now Vision. Look, you play Vision, you can move right into that Professor X. Have fun. Yeah, exactly.
I think the hero of this change also, with the junk conversation, is that move is not just left to right in the locations. It's Professor X is no longer going to stop Hobgoblin. It's no longer going to stop a Nihilus sending over cards to the other side. Like,
it's rough. It's a big nerf.
Yeah, it's a very interesting.
They killed Lockdown in my opinion. They murdered Lockdown.
I think we will still figure out a way to make it work though, because in my head I have this weird clog lockdown style deck formulating with Titania, because if Titania works the way that I think she's going to work, I haven't tested it yet, and if anybody knows yet, please correct me. I believe if you if you play Professor X onto Titania, she should still fire over.
Yes.
Or the other way around.
Move?
It's the same as Goblins going back and forth.
That's true. The Goblins go up and down. So
this is what I needed to test. The other thing I wanted to test was if you play Electro in a Professor X lane and then blink next turn, does the blink?
That doesn't. No, that does not work.
Okay.
I can test that. Yeah.
Okay.
What
Transform
about
works. That's fine.
Will Martyr leave the lane and go to Professor X and lose us the game?
Yes.
Yeah, she can move there.
She can move.
Yeah, and she can pull out of there too.
I know this is a dumb question, but Jubilee is still no-go, right?
That's the same as adding. Yeah.
That's the same.
Blink.
That's still
the only card you can add is Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jeff still has that love.
And Thanos with Space Stone.
Yep.
Yes.
The new Thanos. I know we're all still getting used to that one.
Or if you play War Machine.
Obviously, yeah.
Just play War Machine.
Professor X really took a beating tonight.
All right, Ken.
Do we see Professor X coming back? We'll see. Now, the next card on this list that everybody wanted to get nerfed, besides me, I don't know why. I mean, why do people?
No, I didn't want this. I did not want this.
Why did people want to get Hela nerfed? But Hela didn't really get nerfed too bad.
No.
So now I think it kind of makes sense with the lore a little bit because we are destroying or killing these cards, right? And then she's bringing them back. They should have some type of negative.
And we got to deal with that RNG though. Like she's not gonna place them where you want them. She gonna place them where she want to place them. It's a little difficult. It's not as easy.
So I think this should have been a normal. It should have been a first ability of hers, I think. But yeah, Gregor, what you're saying?
The nerf is still light. I already put together a deck. Yeah, I just threw Luke Cage in a deck with Magic, Invisible Woman, Supergiant, and I'm pushing 30 plus per lane pretty consistently. I got a gold ticket with it in Conquest. I'm gonna see if I can get an infinite ticket with it. But
once you get those tickets, you send it to your boy.
Luke Cage
I already posted it on Twitter, so
I got it.
Luke Cage fixes problems, right?
Yeah,
of course. Now listen, but that means you now have to add another card to the deck. You now have to add a Luke Cage, which takes up.
That was a little bummer. A little bit of a bummer, yeah.
Right, picks up prime real estate. But listen, you want Hela to get more. So I'm intrigued. Before we see everybody else's take on this, Gregor, what should have Hela been nerfed to?
So I've had a few different takes on how Hela should work. I think if Hela was able to do something similar to Stegron, like they res to the right of a location or something like that, where you can specifically target something, I think that would be useful instead of them all coming back. Because I feel like there's so little that you have to do. I mean, there is the RNG element for sure. You have to get Hela. You have to get the right cards to hit. But Black Cat gets rid of herself. You play Lady Sif on 3, hit another big card. Usually it'll be death or something else. And then if you have the Hela, most of the times you can get enough back to still win. So if you play, for example, just have Luke Cage in your deck, you play that on turn 4 or whatever, and you get it all set up. I still think it's not enough. Hela still gives you way too much value in terms of all the stuff that you get back.
Yeah, I think the 18 power infinite doesn't bother me. So yeah, I guess what you got to say.
Yeah, the thing that I focus most on it right now is that this just kind of pigeonholes Hela very specifically, where now if you are going to do it and you are going to try to mitigate it, and you, for example, if you need to put Luke Cage into the deck, I think that this removes the whole Iron Man Onslaught Tribunal combination, because if you don't get that Luke Cage down, that negative Iron Man really does hurt tremendously to get that to land back down. I'm a little worried.
I took out Onslaught out of that deck. That Onslaught was the one I had to get rid of. In order for it to work.
Yeah, and I think it basically tells the deck builder that if you're going to do this, you either have to make a tribunal deck, a dedicated tribunal deck, or a dedicated just big power Hela deck, or this new version like what you're talking about, where you're going to need other like twice as much work to get there. You need the Invisible Woman or the Supergiant, and then the timing to get out right. And then if you need more time, then you can also magic. Like there's a lot of substitutions that are happening to make it.
Right.
And I think just the consistency is going to generally, for the community, it is going to go down. And that's exactly what the deck needed. But the other versions, like you're talking about, Ken, with the 18 power Infinod and the 12 power Giganto, you're still going to be able to get a pretty decent, return even without Luke Cage being on the battlefield. If you bring back 3 cards, you're sacrificing 6 power. But how big of a deal is that when it's still bringing back a 4/7, a 6/12, and a 6/18?
Yeah.
Potentially Red Hulk as well.
Oh, Red Hulk.
Yeah, maybe Hulk. Yeah.
I think Rogue needs a nerf, but we'll dive into that
again.
More
you
too.
Think a bigger nerf?
What is wrong with you? Leave him alone. How many times are we gonna do this to Rogue?
Okay, how you feel about Hela's nerf?
I think it was too light. I think it was way too light. And I think they should do something more along the lines of make her like a 6/8 or a 6/9, and that she can only bring back 3 cards that have been discarded.
The other take that I had heard from somebody is she brings back demons instead of the card that they originally discarded. So everyone would be a 1/6 or something like that. It says demons because she is like the, the queen of the dead.
Yeah.
So if they didn't want to do demons, they could do like zombies or something. They would have to create a new token card.
Yeah.
But
and what would you put that as stat line at?
Well,
I don't know.
That's what they killed, but you're talking about what cost it would be?
What power?
If they're demons, then I'm sure
like
they
the
say
hood,
the same.
1/6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1/6 or like a 1/7.
I don't like this idea now. I like my big power hella.
But I
Killmonger.
like the bringing back only 3 because then you have to be more selective about how you discard.
Yeah.
So like
That's
using
tough.
Almost like Black Knight style.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to target it.
Like you can't just MODOK your whole hands.
Yeah.
I'm about to say what happens to MODOK.
MODOK dies down a little.
But then you got to think about destroy. Then we got to say null can only have the power of 3 cards you discarded, right? I mean, 3 cards you destroyed, because now nobody's playing this card anymore. Everybody's going to play destroy because null still can be as powerful as all the cards destroyed on the field. So I think it's a very tricky thing. I think we have to, if we're going to do that, we got to nerf a bunch of other archetypes.
I'm gonna call for Deadpool's nerf right after that. You nerf my hella Deadpool. Get Deadpool.
I think it's a move in the right direction, but I think it needs a little bit more.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's totally fair. We'll see what happens later on. Listen, we'll see. We'll see what happens for sure. Ebony Blade, what happened? Why did Ebony Blade get to nerf?
Caught a stray.
Who said that this needed to happen? Like, number one, Ebony Blade, I'm a Black Knight fan, enjoyer as well, but we weren't playing that much of it to be like, hey, we can't no longer Shadow King this Ebony Blade. We need to Shadow King this Ebony Blade. What was the purpose? What do you guys think behind it? How do you guys feel about this?
I was confused.
Are we getting a bunch of like affliction cards in July?
Must be.
Yeah.
Toxic we go.
Yeah.
We were just having all this fun with all these cool cards, just procking and buffing. Now we're back to toxic. I love it.
I mean, at least you can still play it into like Death's Domain, and that in and of itself.
They didn't take away the destroyed aspect of it. No cheat can get it.
Because Ken also led with it so brilliantly. For those who are not looking at the YouTube channel, it's now a 4-0 that still can't be destroyed, but you can reduce it now via Shadow King or a location or Valkyrie or those mechanics now do apply to the Ebony Blade. It's not the impenetrable 420. And I think that this was personally preventative because of what they did to Hela, being that they can't have it be reduced. And then Hela brings back an Ebony Blade, but it's a full power version of the card. I think this is just like them getting ahead of the game, saying, hey, we see where you're going to go next with your Hela decks, which is more into the Black Knight version, because the Ebony Blade is going to be a target where you do, you hit that.
But how does Shadow King stop that unless they're proccing first? You know what I mean?
No, Shadow King will turn into 0.
I mean, when you play Hela, it's going to bring everything back, right?
Well, no, we're not talking about more so Shadow King. We're just talking about more so Hela's new ability is -2 power. If the blade kept its old ability, it cannot be reduced. So everybody's just going to Hela the Ebony Blade and here we go. I got
so you like MODOK, get rid of the Ebony Blade, then Hela.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or go like Sif into your Infinite, end up with a 420, and then you blade it, and then now you've got 2 420s that bring back a 20 and an 8.
Okay. Yes, I understand now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one is 18. No, you're good. No, you're totally fine. So, okay, now I get it. Because thank you for educating me. Because I was like, what happened here? Why did the blade need to be destroyed or tampered with? Anybody takes on the Ebony Blade? I'm not sure if you guys play with the Ebony Blade as much to care what happened to it.
It's still really good.
Yeah, it's still good. I don't think they took the lore away from it, but still,
it's fine.
It was like a little bit of a bummer. But hey, we're still gonna play it, right?
Right.
100%. 100%. Okay, so go off to the next card, which we spoke about this guest. We did tell Sino episodes ago that it's going to happen this way. They're going to make him a 6/10 with +3 energy because that +4 was way too much. I've seen a Red Hulk get to like 24 for nothing. Because I'm playing Hope Summers, you get to go to 24 before turn 5? What kind of
fair? That's fair.
Stop.
They have to be very careful with whenever they do +4 power, because whenever they do, there's almost always a nerf immediately afterwards.
Yes.
Well, I'm scared now because +3 power doesn't fare well in this game either.
Well, for Red Hulk, it's fine. At this point now, at least Red Hulk starts off as a shangable target. So if you don't want
Agreed.
that Red Hulk, if he's on the field at any time, whether it be with Magic or earlier, at least you could take it out before it gets to crazy, insane numbers. Yeah, I think this nerf was needed. I think we did call it, a couple episodes ago. I just think it's still fine. Red Hulk can keep this. Just give Infinite a buff.
Oh God, here we go.
what do you feel about the Red Hulk?
No Infinite buff. No. Give Evolved Hulk a buff. I think that should be the change. I think if you just simply make Evolved Hulk go to +3 also, now Red Hulk starts lower, but technically Evolved Hulk should be able to keep up with it. But depending on when you draw Red Hulk, then you know if it's more powerful or not. I think that matchup is a lot more fun that way.
And Infinite just stays in his little 20 power corner.
Little?
Would you like it if we changed it to 21 power? Would that be?
He wants 25 or 22. 22 to 25, and he's happy.
Okay.
22 is the lowest for me. Because at this point, we have to skip a turn to play Infinite. I don't do anything but just keep my Red Hulk either on the field or in my hand. And he just.
We don't want to hear your Infinite case. We want to hear KK.
Yes, sorry, KK.
Red Hulk's still really strong with this change. I kind of like the 6'10" as opposed to 6'9" because when you're not able to soak energy for him, like if your opponent doesn't skip any energy, it felt really bad at 6'9", I thought. So at least if your opponent doesn't soak energy, you have a 6'10", which I think is nice. He's still going to get really big, so I don't think this will be the last time that they make a change with him for a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that. It's true. It's like getting a 4/9 ebony blade. Like that was that when Black Cat got discarded, I would always be like, damn. Like I don't want the 4/9. You know what I mean? I want the 420. I want the high number 414 or something. So I like the fact that they brought him up to a 6'10. When we discussed the nerf the last time, I was like, all the other Hulks were laughing at him because he was a 6'9 and they were all double digits, just sitting there looking at look at you, you're weak. You're just weak. But I'm bummed out about the +4 going down to a +3. I thought Red Hulk was fine. All right, he's 6'9, but he can proc up big. So I'm a little bummed out about that. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to play him or anything, or he's still going to be weaker. Great. He's a 6'10, like KK was saying. The 10 and now it feels better to play, even like if we can't proc up energy for him, you're going to feel better with that just one extra power. It's one extra power, but still that 10 makes you at least cool with it. But yeah, that's what I think.
Gregor, what about you? How you feel about it?
I still think he's the biggest big bad right now.
Oh, okay.
In terms of like, you need a beefy character, you put in Red Hulk. I'm not choosing Giganto. I'm not choosing. I mean, I do occasionally put in Infinite within like a Hella deck or something like that. But most of the time I'm choosing Red Hulk as my big 6-power drop. The +3 I think is better. I think this is good for high Evo players. They're going to be able to compete a little bit better with Red Hulk. Yes, basically, Red Hulk was wiping out high Evo every time.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good call.
They couldn't compete at all. You have to float power to play high Evo. Yeah. And Red Hulk just eats all that up. So I think this is a move in the right direction. I still think he's going to become massive. Like, I was still getting 19, 20 plus power Red Hulks today. So yeah, I definitely think the nerf was needed for him.
Okay. Guess your take.
We called it, plain and simple. He needs to be able to be Shang-Chi with nothing on him.
Yes.
If you get that hit, and the increment was just too oppressive. And I just find it interesting how in so many ways, when we think of getting +4 onto a thing, there's good and bad associated, where if there's luck associated, like the Guardians, it's okay. And then when it's automatic just via an energy float, it's not okay. But then if it's an ongoing, like US Agent, it is okay. So like this weird 4-power dichotomy with how you use the card, I think is interesting to look at just from like an outsider's perspective. But overall, between play rate and win rate, it 100% needed to be adjusted and tweaked just a little bit more. And I like that they did it on both ends.
I agree. I like that. I think I also like the fact that when he first came out, and even now, he lets you know when he's in your opponent's hand. You know what I mean? I think I give second dinner that props for that. Could you guys imagine if we never knew if Red Hulk was, it would be
That would be
so
awful.
bad.
Surprise.
Awful.
I prefer that sometimes. I'd be
I'm
like,
sure.
damn, they know. I don't want them to know.
Yeah.
Well, at least like I could be like, why didn't you retreat? You knew I had the
Yeah,
Red
you
Hulk in
knew
the
I had
hand.
that. Why are you gonna
Yeah.
try it?
So I'm happy they did that, because I mean, the first time was with Spider Ham. We was like, well, would the opponent be able to see? Because they should be able to see what I hammed, right? So I'm happy that they kind of worked that out and made that happen. So shout out to them for that. Now we go to the season pass card, which I think is the second or even the first to be buffed so quickly, right? Because we had Hercules first, right?
And
Yeah.
Phoenix
Yeah.
Force. Phoenix Force
Oh, yeah.
was also
Phoenix
buffed
Force.
in its own season.
Yes. And now Gilgamesh. I think this 5/9 is perfect. I think it's exactly what they needed. He should have been a 5/9 to begin with, because now even if you only buff 2 cards, he's sitting at a 5/11. I mean, that's what it is, because like we mentioned before, it feels like Gilgamesh is a 6 power card because we only can play him on that turn, especially with Blue Marvel. Now, dropping him down with a Blue Marvel after being played, it's going to be phenomenal. And I'm pumped to start playing some Gilgamesh card lists, because I like to use the Battle Pass card to go to Infinite. I'm at 88. I'm definitely going to be using Gilgamesh to get to Infinite this season. So I love this change. It is phenomenal. We're going to go with Gregor first. How do you feel about it and this wonderful change?
I like it. There are way too many other 5/7 cards. You have Blink, you have now Cannonball. I think he needed something to stand out amongst the other cards. And like you said, you're usually going to put him out either on 5 or 6 with maybe a 1 cost, maybe like Kitty Pryde or something. You want to get that Blue Marvel out so they all get that buff. This makes him a lot more viable. Even if you only have 1 or 2 cards, he's going to be 5'10", 5'11", which is good stats for a 5-cost card in general.
Facts.
Solid. Yeah. That puts him up there with like Mockingbird. So
Yes. Okay. KK, how you feel about it?
I think it was definitely needed. When I had first read this card before the season started, I was like, oh, this is a weak season pass card. I was not impressed reading it, and playing with it the first week. I was like, okay, if you play Wong, you can get it decent, but I couldn't really find anything else that made it like a good size. But I do think that 5/9 is probably a good spot for it. Some people in my chat were like, but they should make it +2. And I was like, nah, I think it could get out of hand with +2. So it's definitely a tough one, but I do think that 5/9 is a lot better.
Fair enough. Sino, how you take on it?
They had to buff this card because after the big, everybody was so excited for it, right? After the, all the build up.
No, just you and guess what?
A lot of people were excited at first. Okay, relax over there. But yeah, it was a big build up to it, and then when it came out, you were left with this unsatisfied feeling. It was just like, ugh, like it just didn't work out how I thought this was gonna work out, and we didn't get it to where we thought we were gonna get it to. But now at a 5/9, like you said, it procs up nicely. I think it's even more a 6-drop card. You know what I mean? If you play with Magic, you could drop it on 7 and really get some good value. But it needed to be buffed. So I'm glad that they did that speedy.
Fair enough. Guess, how do you feel about it?
It was, as we've all kind of echoed, it was needed. Now you feel much better dropping it down at equivocal costs to Abomination. It is just a good option now, rather than a card that you kind of needed to build into. You'd build your deck knowing that you want to drop a giant Gilgamesh, rather than let me put Gilgamesh in here because it's going to be good stats and it fits organically into a package already. So it's no longer a card to build into. It is now just a good option to add.
Love it. All right. So the rest of the buffs we have was just in power. So we go with Captain America, of course, going to 3/3, which, okay, that's fine. Shauna getting a buff to 3/4, which is like, let's go.
That's nice.
That's huge.
Surprising.
That was real good for that. So Shauna, right now, I mean, I only started playing her again in Zoo decks because of Gilgamesh, but now you can stick her in a Surfer deck. You can stick her wherever you want. At a 3/4 stat line, that is pretty good. for Sino. Stop. That's a pretty good way you.
You said it. I'm just reacting to what you said.
But then, of course, we have Stegron that went from a 4-6 to 4-7, but now moved the enemy card one location to the right. I really believe Heimdall needed something like this. When he's played in the middle, he shift cards to the left. When he's played on the left, he shift cards to the right. I think Heimdall needs some type of change when it comes to that, because everybody knows when Heimdall comes down, everything is moving in one direction. But Stegron being able to move card from here to the right location is pretty good, and it is the one location to the right. So you can play, like I said before, with a Kingpin and kind of try to set this up. I'm really happy about this. I was a big Stegron fan when he first came out. I think that's my biggest TikTok or short video with Stegron. How do you guys feel about it? We'll start with KK this time.
I really like it because I like lane control. So knowing where the card's going to move is really nice. I like Stegron a lot. I think he's very underrated, and I think he'll get a lot more play with this new text box. It's a good change.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Gregor?
Yeah. This gives me a reason to put Stegron. Actually, I have a lot of reasons to play move decks now. So I'm really excited. I don't normally enjoy playing move, but now I'm ready to play with some Kingpin, with some Stegron, with some other stuff that I normally wouldn't play, because Professor X is no longer an issue.
Yep.
And I'm actually looking forward to brew some decks playing with move. So this is a really good change. And like KK said, being able to control where the card goes, huge.
Agreed. So KK, what's the name of the puppy?
This is Bailey.
Bailey, look at Bailey.
Nice.
Puppy. Okay, Sino, what do you feel about Stegron?
At first, I was a little bummed about it because taking the option to like play the card right and knocking it left or mid, I think it had more appeal that way to me at first. But now hearing you KK and guess everybody talk about it, I'm not that bummed about it. I think control is better for Kingpin. I don't think too many people are running too much Kingpin nowadays. So I think it definitely brings value to that card. And, bringing value to cards that we're not necessarily playing anymore seems to be the theme nowadays. So I'm all for it. Why not?
All right, Guess, what about you?
I think this is probably going to end up being one of the bigger changes we talk about later on, because once we figure out the best way to use it, I feel like this is going to be a staple card in combination, because I even can see this being right up KK's alley with Prof X. I can see this being a storm card where you sacrifice a storm lane and then literally leave it alone and then just use it as a garbage heap from there on out and just start sending cards over into that lane that you've already chosen to give up. There's some cool things that can be done. Like you said, having the understanding with the guided move. I think this is a very powerful effect now at 4-7, especially. Those are good stats. Like you get control and a 7 power swing. I mean, you're talking like Shang-Chi cannonball type power swing via one card in a lane. That should not be ignored. This is going to be a very good card.
I've also thought about something. If you were to Wong in a busy lane, then Stegron and Odin, you could clear an entire lane.
Right now, yeah. They're knocking everything out of there.
Yeah, he just swings.
If able. Yeah.
If able, yes. If able to go into lane. Yeah.
Jeez. No, listen, I agree with all you guys. We can all say right now the meta is probably in a good place with this change. I know it's too soon. It just happened today, but I feel that we can probably say that the meta is
on paper it looks good. Yeah.
Because Professor X was definitely a problem with Cannonball, and Hella was definitely a problem for other people as well. So now that those have been touched, and now we can have these type of things happening, I can't wait to see the cool card lists people come up with. I think that's going to be the fun part. How long can this stay this way is the question. How long before we get another broke in the combo until somebody figures out that this and this? And should we bring back the old Spider-Man? These are the questions I want to know. Now that lockdown is no longer But we need a lockdown
Wait,
card.
sad because Professor X is not the way it is, but doesn't like Spider-Man? KK, you gotta explain that.
Well, old Spider-Man was just way too toxic. Like,
Yep.
it was effective,
What?
but I actually felt bad. Like,
But
I
Professor
did not
X
like winning that way.
Professor X is now the old Spider-Man. You guys know that.
Spider-Man, Galactus.
Because we could
That's
move
true.
into that lane now.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
So Professor X has become the old Spider-Man. So I mean, maybe we need to bring it back, give him some love. I don't know. Either way, it is what it is. I think right now, I think we're okay. Yeah, I mean, geez, Galactus Spider-Man definitely gave people nightmares.
Yep.
Those are good
Yeah.
times. Those are good times.
Oh yeah.
I remember those days.
We're infinite that way.
I know you slowed climb your way there for that way.
Yes, I did.
Way
Every retreat,
Spider-Man
every one
retreat.
cube by one cube, just climbing right up.
Of course, Sino would do that.
Yep.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I think the meta's in a good place. I hope we continue to get more cards. I can't wait for next season and the season after. But of course,
Hold on, guess one thing. What happened? Guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got one question for you then. Now that Prof X Cannonball is gone, well, supposedly. Now that Hela is taking a back seat. Now that Red Hulk has been tweaked. What's the next top meta deck?
move Professor X.
I think
Lockdown.
Move takes
That's
over.
the next
I
one.
Yeah.
think Move takes over.
Stegron's
I
gonna
think-
shine, I think.
Yeah. Move Lockdown will be the next
Mhm.
deck that shuts
A
shit
lot of
down.
Phoenix Force out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Phoenix Force is gonna rise up for sure.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put Bounce in the list too. I think Bounce makes a comeback again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been seeing a lot more Ronin lists in general. A
Yeah.
lot more Ronin and Supergiant lately,
Yes.
which
The Giants, yeah.
I've been enjoying all the Supergiant play.
Yes.
Adds a little bit more fun to the play lines.
Agreed.
Great.
Yes, Sarah Bounce, they were going to be happy now. Professor
Mm-hmm.
X is gone. But yeah, wow. No. And that's the fun part, right?
And
all
it
these
killed
cards are-
Sandman a little too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Not
Couple.
really. Sandman's still good.
Couple.
a little bit.
Sandman's still right.
I mean, he's not
so-
ongoing anymore. It's just one turn. You get what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Listen, Sage is still the best card right now in Marvel Snap, so I'm not mad at all. Love Sage. Sage is so good. Such a great card. All right, so speaking of Marvel Snap, we do have some awesome things coming. They did put out a article that showed that they were having some amazing things coming to Marvel Snap to get us all pumped up for July and August for the summer. And it was supposed to be on a wonderful channel that I think majority of us in the Discord sat and watched and waited and waited and waited. And it never happened.
excuse
And
me.
then when we finally saw it at midnight that night, because I remember very well, because I was driving back from Jersey, stuck in traffic, got home at midnight, watched this video, and it was horrendous. Now, our wonderful guest up top, ItsGuestGaming, put out a video yesterday showing and showcasing exactly what should have been sent out to the wonderful community. And it did so well that in under 24 hours, it was put in the Marvel Snap app.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
I
go.
think instead of us talking about this wonderful announcement from IGN,
Not
we're
much to
not
talk
going to
about
mention
on
it
the
at
IGN
all.
stuff.
And we're going to say there's a link that's going to be at the top of this video. It's Guest Gaming. If you already haven't seen it in the app itself, definitely click on that link and you can know everything you need to know about what's coming to Marvel Snap. And be sure to come back here when we talk about those amazing things that are coming. Now, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we depart?
I would like to just say, first off, thank you for the kind words. I also want to say thank you to the community, because the feedback that I have gotten from this video on Twitter, from the devs, from the community managers, I have gotten DMs from people I have never thought I would be in communication with ever, from the Marvel Snap community, praising what happened from that video and the way it was put together, the way it was explained. I even got messaging directly from Steven, who was in the presentation in the middle of the couch on IGN. And I was like, please tell me I got everything right. He's like, you absolutely slayed it. So
Nice. Let's go.
it felt incredibly good to know
amazing.
that I spent my whole Wednesday stream building that video from scratch. I played no Sersi because that's how much I love her. And I was like, let me just build this video. And we broke it down online. And I did the whole process online with the community. Well, I made the graphics online. I made the thumbnail online while live streaming. Like, we did the whole thing as a community together. And look, I know it's Twitch drops. I just didn't think it was worth it. And I'm glad that all of that has paid off. And it has been my most positively reviewed video to date. And I personally needed that in this community right now more than anything else. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported it, shared it, watched it, you know, enjoyed it, and let people know that, hey, here's what you should watch. And even the devs saying, yes, seriously, go watch that video. It covers everything better. So I'm thrilled with how that went.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal job. That was phenomenal. Community, you guys are great. And yes, I hope a lot of people watch that video and because when I watched it, I was like, yes, this makes sense now. I mean, it's sad that it had to be this way, but I'm happy it had to be this way, especially for guests, because who else can explain it better than you? No one. So I hope this also opens more doors for you, that they can now say, here's some other things that are coming in the future. Guests, we need you to explain this to us so we can better explain it to the community. That will be
Fingers
phenomenal.
crossed.
Yes, indeed. All right, that's great. Our wonderful guests that came, Gregor and KK, thank you again for coming by.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.
We really appreciate it. Hope we get you guys back on the wonderful Snapcast. I know
he said it right. Thank God. Thank God. I thought he was going to promo somebody else.
I was about to say, did you like really stumble on the name of your I
did not. I want to slow down.
I've had 3 of them. Like, I'm allowed to get away with it, but you, buddy.
I wanted to slow down to give you guys a heart attack because I know Sino was about to be like, you better not say. I said snap.
I was dying on the inside. Like, literally, like, come on, don't do it. Don't do it.
But yes, again, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And we'll definitely catch you guys in the next video.
No snarky ending. Wow.
All right, guys, don't leave yet.
Pretty clean, right?
Yeah. We were nice. We were nice this time. Come on.
Nah, we got to figure out a way to make fun of Ken. We'll figure it out.
Yes, that's right.